For my final project, I wanted to look at the major wildfires occurring in the state of California. While this state is no stranger to wildfires, late August and early September have brought along some of the most extreme fires ever seen in history. Therefore, I created 3 maps to help visualize the severity of this event. My first map is a reference map of California, which displays all wildfires that burned across the state this year up to September 8th. It displays 6 layers: rivers, national forests, the fires of 2020, a topographic base map, state boundaries, and major cities in California. I chose to display a topographic base map for this map and the third map as well to help a reader look at the location of fires relative to elevation levels. I also included many map elements like a legend, a scale, a title, a need light sources, and a north arrow. I placed this along different areas on the map to avoid leaving empty spaces and cluttering as well. In order to establish figure ground on this map, I clipped all data to only be included in the state of California, while leaving all other near states empty. Furthermore, I also made the background of the map blue to represent the ocean and differentiate land from water. Different colors are displayed on the map to differentiate the features or layers being shown. Some were chosen based off real-life features such as national forests being green and rivers being blue. For the fire layer shown on the legend, I used symbols to differentiate between active fires and non-active fires. Active fires are shown using an orange and yellow flame, while non-active fires are shown with a red-black outline flames. Cities are displayed only as simple black points to show where they are located. Moving on this map, I chose to label cities, rivers, and national forests with their names. I used 2 different fonts, Bankshrift and Georgia, to differentiate between culture and physical features. More in depth, I made the labels for rivers, curved, italicized, and the darker blue. I also had to generalize some features in the state, specifically the rivers layer, to avoid cluttering on the map and put more attention to their fires. Therefore, I only included major rivers in California. Overall, my purpose for this map was to display the location of fires in 2020 in relation to different features in California, like cities and forests, to show how they occur all over the state. My second map is a choropleth map that visualizes the severity of current active fires as of September 8th by looking at the degree of acres burned and still growing and their location relative to county population. This map includes 3 different layers, specifically a counties layer, a state boundaries layer, and an active fires layer. This map includes the same set of elements from the previous map, just appropriated to fit this data. In this case, I combined different methods to establish figure ground, such as using color to contrast the state of California from surrounding states, making the background blue to represent the ocean, and adding details within the state of California. Altogether, this also helps establish visual hierarchy within the map. As shown, I used data classification to display total population for every county in the state. I chose to use the natural Jenks method with 5 classes since I thought this grouped the data best without grouping together too many counties into one class. I cleaned up the data a little more by rounding each class value, adding commas to display on the legend, and including a title to the layer in the legend to better describe it. For this layer, I used an orange sequential color scheme, which increased in darkness as the population became higher. Moving on, I chose to display the number of acres burned using graduated circle symbols with 5 classes that were manually classified. I felt these breaks were best fit since they showed the severity of how huge these fires really are. I also included labels for the names of counties to help readers locate where exactly these fires are located. Specifically, I made the font small as to not stand out too much and used a halo to make it pop out just a little from the county background. I moved some labels to outside the state to avoid over-cluttering. Using these different techniques, I aim to show how severe these fires currently are and the level of threat they present in the state. The last map is a special web mapping application that compares the number of summer wildfires in the years 2019 and 2020, along with the number of acres they burned. Compiled in ArcGIS, the application uses 2 separate maps, one which displays the wildfires in 2019 and the other which displays wildfires in 2020. Both maps include only 2 layers, the wildfires and the topographic base map. The swiping bar can be used to compare the extent and damage fires caused in the state of California for both years. This web map has a legend for both maps, a title, a subtitle describing the map, a text description to also help the user navigate the application and give specific information about the fires. Similar to the second map, I used graduated symbols, specifically as a flame, to represent the number of acres burned from fires for both years. I felt this was the best choice since it's easier to look at how extreme the differences between 2019 and 2020 is in terms of major wildfires experienced. Most of the other aspects of a map, like labels and generalization, were chosen and automatically added by ArcGIS. Overall, that's a quick summary of how I compiled these 3 different maps. Using my newly gained cartographic skills, I aim to display the data in a way that was most understanding to a reader. Therefore, looking at the maps, I hope a reader can quickly pick up the extremity of California wildfires this year, especially since they are still going on and we can only imagine how much worse they could get.